I'd like to spend a few moments and talk about a favorite topic, which is the chromatic scale and how it fits into a tonal framework. If you've not yet done so, I'd very much appreciate it if you'd subscribe, hit the like button, share, and leave a comment. If you'd care to leave a tip, my PayPal information is in the description below. I hope you're enjoying the content, and let's get started here with some look at the chromatic scale. So we're going to be in the key of no sharps, no flats. I'm going to start here with outlining a C chord, just a tenth, C and E. So we say the one chord. If we just do this with a chord scale, we end up with tenths in the key of C, C and E, D and F, so that's the 2 chord, the 1 major, 2 minor, 3 minor, E and G, 7th and 8th frets, 8 and 10, F and A, 10 and 12, G and B, that's the 5 chord, A and C, 12 and 13, it's the 6 chord, B and D, 14, 15, that's the 7th chord, and we're back home again, 15, 17, C, C and E. I think you can hear the scalar sense of this, that it follows. Very predictable. So C has its 5 chord. Right across from it, if we are on the 5th string, that G root is the 5. So if I go from C, how about G and F, 3rd fret and 6th fret of the 6th and 2nd strings. So they split. If I add that B note in here, it really stacks the deck. Makes C sound like home. So the idea is a 5 chord makes something sound like home. In this case, maybe even more than the G, this B leading tone makes C sound like home. If I just play, you can hear that melodically it's motivated to try to come back up. So that B leading tone is crucial. So what we're going to do is use the chromatic scale to squeeze out some other leading tones and tonicize each of the members of the key. Now, to tonicize means that we do give it its 5 chord or its leading tone. The 5 chord encodes the leading tone. It usually has it somewhere very prominently as a member. So in this case, we're going to try to tonicize D minor, which means we need to give D its leading tone. And that C sharp that is half step below D is encoded within A7. So if we thought of C with G, here's D minor, now I could go off into playing progressions in D minor, and it'd be hard to hear going back to C. You'd have to hear that B natural note and maybe the F to get us back in the ear space of C. Here's D minor. Now it sounds like it could just go back to C, but if I give it D minor, its leading tone, now we're firmly in D minor. I gave it its 5 chord, A7, D minor. So it's a way that we could modulate, and we could suddenly be off in D minor land. So we have C, meaning the 1 chord. We have C sharp, meaning the leading tone or the 5 chord in first inversion. of D minor. So we have a root position 1 chord, a first inversion 5 chord, the 2 chord, D minor, and now likewise, if we come up to D sharp, well, that's the leading tone of E. So this is going to make B7 happen. So we're going to have a progression that would go C to A, to D minor, to B7, to E minor. That's playing the full chords. And what I'm doing is encoding the chromatic scale every step of the way. So some of them are members of the major scale, and then the chromatic parts are approach chords. They're the first inversion sound of the 5 chord. To make that clear, D minor has its 5 chord, it's A7, and D minor can get its leading tone C sharp that more or less encodes that A7 sound. You'll find it in the Baroque studies all the time. This could also be C sharp diminished 7, but I'm going for the more common sounding just 5 chord. So instead of thinking C sharp diminished to D minor, I'm just thinking, I think A7's a little more plain sounding and approachable. So C to A7 to D minor to B7 to E minor. And within that we've encoded a straight chromatic scale. Now when we get up, as we did, here's E and G, so it's E minor. Now C's a long way away, it feels, because we're really in E minor. What we can do here is also add the note B flat, which is the note that makes C7 happen, and C7 is the 5 chord of F. So we'd have something along the lines of C to A7 to D minor to B7 to E minor to C7 to F with a chromatic line. Sounds like parts of Prokofiev's Peter and the Wolf. So I added the B flat to get to F. Now once we're at F, we can give the 5 chord, we can give G its 5 chord, which is D7. So that encodes an F sharp there, the leading tone of G. So if I played those together, C to A7 to D minor to B7 to E minor to C7 to F to D7 to G. I think you might hear in your memory, it sounds like some well-known tunes, older tunes of course. Songs these days don't usually use these kinds of 5s and 1s in this way, but certainly older tunes did. And as you can imagine, we're going to carry on with the half steps leading somewhere. So now we're going to get from G, the 5 chord, we're going to get E7 over G sharp, and that G sharp is the leading tone of A minor. So the sound of G to E7, A minor. Here's the whole progression in big chords. C, A7, D minor, B7, E minor, C7, F, D7 to G to E7 to A minor. Now here we have a choice. If we want to go up to B flat, it could be again C7 over B flat that would lead to F. As we had here. So we could be looking at C, A7, D minor, B7, E minor, C7, F, D7, G, E7, A minor, C7 with a B flat in the bass, F. We could keep going. We get to the B note could be part of G7 that would lead to C. So it's a lot, but what we've done is encoded within the chromatic scale a whole series of 5 ones, and it shows that every chromatic neighbor has its place in a tonal key. So C is 1, D is 2. C sharp usually means the 5 of 2. It's the first inversion note. Hear it all the time in Bach. So that C sharp leading tone means A7, first inversion. D means D minor, or whatever you'd like. D sharp means first inversion, B chord. So those roots are a third apart. If you're on the 5th string doing this, if you just use your second finger, so 6th and 7th frets, here's C sharp and A, 4th and 5th frets. Now we're at E minor, we could get C7, F, and now D7 over F sharp, G, E7, I'm using flat 9 to go to A minor. Now we could get if we want C7 over B flat. Suppose we could also have C7. It's a nice change there. Then for B, probably G7 over B. Could also be B half diminished, which is also G9 with no root, to C. If any of these theory things go over your head or feel to be too much, just familiarize yourself with it over time. Don't worry about it in the moment. It'll seep in eventually if you have enough exposure to it. So the idea is chromatic scale, everybody's invited, everybody has a place, and any of the outside notes that aren't in the major scale are serving usually as leading tones to new ones or new tonics if we want. Hope this has been of interest, and I wish you a very good day.